Welcome back in. Happy Easter weekend to all of you out there. Hope you have a wonderful start to a significant and special weekend on this Saturday. Weather's not quite what I would like. I'd like it to be a little warmer, but nevertheless, it's nice to have Easter weekend here to spend a little extra time with our families. Anything else to add on the portal? Let me throw this question your way.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up portal talk here. Do you draw any comparisons between Cody Epps and Keelan Marion from a couple years ago? And are there any lessons learned from the Cody Epps situation that you think should be applied here?
It's a good question. I feel like I feel like they're the same because you do have time to adjust. Like, there's still time in this transfer portal window. It goes till next Friday. More players are going to go in.
It is the same in the sense that both played in spring ball and then went.
You know, I feel like maybe it could be a lesson because Cody was never the same guy. Like, he just wasn't.
No.
You know, injuries obviously played a role in 2023 and 2024, but even when he was healthy in 2024 or 2023, like, he was like banged. It wasn't healthy, but like he was banged up and he wasn't playing. He wasn't available really. And in 2024, there just wasn't much of a role for him. He was a week one starter, and that kind of faded. And then he got hurt and was not heard from the rest of the way, and that opened the door for Keelan Marion. Maybe it serves as a case of maybe just empower your current guys and just look them in the eye and say, we believe in you. Like,
if you're here, we believe in you.
We're gonna get a guy because of numbers, but we believe in you. We recruited you out of high school for a reason. We're gonna turn to you. Like, it's time. Like, they talk so much about depth. Well, just lean into it then. Like, lean into your depth and go have success with those guys. But I do think you need to probably add maybe two guys at wide receiver just as an insurance to make sure.
Injury and
just because Chase is coming back from injury and it's a shoulder and you want to have that kind of insurance net there and put together some resources. And look, it'd be great if Keelan came back. It'd be awesome. But it does just change the dynamic a little bit. It just changes the vibes, if you will, the feelings when a guy dips in and then comes back, especially in the spring window, to your point about going through spring practices. But I think I would just, look those current wide receivers in the room and just say, like, we believe in you. Like, we're going to lean into you guys, but be transparent that there are going to be new faces joining the group in the summer.
For me, if there is a lesson to be taken from what happened with Cody Epps, is that Cody Epps situation, it was just never felt real after that. It felt forced. It felt a little weird. It's like, we're happy to have you back, but really we're still kind of mad because the 11th hour entry was frustrating for coaches and for players. And I think, if someone wants to do this and leverage maybe the opportunity to get more money, we haven't heard from Keelan, so we don't know what the true intention is. But considering the flow of cash in the sport, it's easy to connect the dots and say maybe someone offered him a significant raise.
And he's the best kick returner in college football. Like, last year, that Utah win, you don't win that game. We were talking before the show. You don't win that game without that kick return touchdown by Keelan Marion. It was a quick response to get BYU back in the mix. How valuable are those 2 touchdown kick returns for a team that, you can make an argument got BYU to 11 wins. If you don't have those, it's a big difference between 9 wins and 11.
Yes.
Significant, and it impacts bonuses for coaches. So how valuable is that to a team? He goes to any team in the country, he's going to be the starting kick returner. He's going to be the main guy. That's going to be expected to get you at least 2 touchdowns, and that's a luxury where very few people in the sport can do that. So, that's at a premium. And when you've got that elite of a service and a talent, that's going to create a market for you. And how that comes to be, who knows how that, how you get even wind of what your market is like before you hit the portal, or if he doesn't know. I don't know. We haven't heard from Keelan himself, and I think that's a fair point to always bring up because, and the Rob Wright situation, I think, highlighted that too. It's like, we got to hear from them, because on the surface, you just look at it and say, cash grab, money. Right. Yep. That's the only reason. Like, I want to hear from them. Like, see what the reason is. I don't know. Did he like his dynamic, his living at BYU? I don't know. Like, I don't know if it seemed like it was all going great. He's been there the past 2 years. He was emerging as a leader. It seemed like everything was right, but I'm not going to claim to know that I'm next to the man every single day. I don't know. So I think that's these sort of situations, you kind of always be like, okay, like you're going to have the player movement, but at the same time, BYU's going to go get their guys that they need to fill that gap if needed, or turn to the guys that are currently in the program to be elevated to bigger roles. LaMason Waller, Dominique McKenzie, freshmen, guys, take a step forward this summer. This is a big opportunity for you to really make a leap forward, and all the other guys that are young underclassmen, time to step up for BYU in that receiver room.
And despite all that, I think if you want to do that, then I think you just say thanks for the 2 years, and we're not going to be matching any offers. We're not going to be re-recruiting you. If this is what you want to do, you're out the door. Like I think it's fair in some cases to draw comparisons to the real world. And I think in a corporate America, one of the easiest and best ways to increase your earnings potential is to have a competing offer, to shop your value, to go out to the market and see if another company will pay you more. And in some cases, you don't want to leave, and you take that offer back to your current employer, and they want to match. It just, again, it's the way you handle it and the timing of these things that I think goes a long way. And, you know, if you're working as a finance guy, or if you're a tax accountant and you want to leverage your company at the busiest point of tax season, that hits a little differently than someone's recruiting me in the off season and I really want to stay here. Can you match this? That's different. And I think that applies to this situation on why maybe you just say, hey, if that's what you want to do, great, because we thought you were in and we highlighted you in spring and we got you ready. And then so I think just the lesson to be learned here is players can do what they want, and I don't fault them at all for potentially shopping his market value and getting a raise. Good for you. But sometimes if you want to open other doors, that means you're closing some doors as well. And to your point, maybe just say, this door's now closed. We're going ahead with the young guys.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to follow this this movement for Keelan, because he is a talented football player. And I think, you know, when it comes to adding guys in the portal from the coaching staff perspective, I always wonder, how does that impact the locker room? You know, I don't think enough is talked about how it impacts the locker room when a, you know, projected key guy that was part of spring and felt like a top performer, projected to be a top performer this season. How does that impact the locker room? And it makes me wonder too, you know, should the coaches be more aggressive on being willing to just add guys? You know, and I bring this up because when I saw Nico Iamaleava, when I saw him in the portal, I was like, why not kick the tires on that? I say that because BYU once offered him out of high school.
Right.
And look, and I know the story that's been reported, and it's mixed, you know, reporting his Colin Coward saying that it was about the scheme, and then, you know, it's believed that it was about money initially. Who knows? But it's like, I think the thing you would have said in April or this time of the year is like, you don't do that to add a guy like him because it hurts the locker room. Well, this also hurts maybe a little bit too.
Right.
Either way, it's hurting, if you're a coach, just, you know what, like, I'm going to just add talented football players, and everyone has to be on notice and be ready. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, to me, that's got to be the more, and that's where it gets a little bit touchy with the portal, because you don't want it to be like that. You want it to be like, we believe in the guys here that we recruited as high school. You want to romanticize kind of that old school way of roster building, but whenever you get the chance to just get quality talent, man, you're getting to the point where, hey, you got to think there's going to be a guy that that might blindside me, and this guy just bails. And we want to make sure to get our numbers correctly, because when the years go by, like we're all talking about in the moment, but when the years go by and, you know, 2025 season, if it's only 8-4, people will forget that nuance in April where you lost a key wide receiver. You'll just say, you were 8-4 and didn't live up to expectations. Well, maybe if you added these pieces in advance, maybe, you know, you prevented that, so you're not going to have that situation. This is a type of loss with Marion. It could cost you a game or two. I do believe that. So this is a team where I came out of spring feeling like I don't feel like they're the favorite in the Big 12 anymore coming out of spring.
Right.
I still think they're a very good football team, but I want to see more from this group, and maybe this can rally the team and look everyone in the eye, and that's where you hope the player leaders on this team really kind of rally the troops, say, hey, is everyone on board? Are you guys ready to go chase this Big 12 title, or is it just kind of a case of this is what the landscape is, and we got to take care of our business? I don't know.
I will say some of my favorite BYU offenses of yesteryear, Mitch, have been heavily focused on 2 or 3 players, and you just feed them the rock, and maybe that becomes the plan. Maybe it's Chase, you're getting 100 targets. Carson Ryan,
Great.
We're giving you 60. LJ and Sione and Pokai, you guys are toting the rock, and it's just it's 4 or 5 guys, and we're feeding you the ball, and
I'm okay with that.
me too, because that's worked well in the past for, think about the Pitta-Cauley-Unga trio. That was just fine, even though they forced the ball to those 3 frequently. Taking the break, news, traffic, and weather up next. On the other side, we'll get to that conversation Mitch had with Tyler Batty.